yourself, would you really care if you knew that the Lord was a black man with woolly hair? They say black is beautiful. Then why I see that white Jesus in the churches when we pack the funerals? Why this dude look softer than gelatin when the real one was all clear, man, with pigment and melanin?
Shalom, shalom, Israel. How's everybody doing on this Sabbath? Hope everybody's doing okay today. First and foremost, we want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That's Father. Bahashem means in the name of, and of course, Yahweh Shai, the Son. Okay, we done gave some praises up. Let's get into today's lesson. All right, so Israel, whom we know as to be the so-called American blacks across the Caribbean, the so-called natives, and the so-called Hispanic of Indian descent. Okay, we as a people, since we went through the curses and all this, we don't love one another enough. We don't give charity enough. We don't do enough for each other because one thing, we don't have too much to give. But according to the scriptures, we gotta do more. Okay, and when we get into the scriptures, you're gonna see some stuff you probably didn't really believe or didn't know, that what charity and what alms and stuff, what it does for you, okay? And how does the Most High God feel about it? So today's lesson is going to be called, Alms and Charity, okay? That's what the scriptures, all in the scriptures, but we don't do it enough as a people. All right, so I'm going to get the definition of the word charity. I looked it up. And it means the practice of charity means the voluntary giving of help to those in need. As a humanitarian act, there are a number of philosophies about charity, often associated with religion. You see that? Effective altruism is the use of evidence and reasoning to determine the most effective ways to help others. All right, now that's charity, so it's given to those in need. Now, alms deeds or alms is rendered, give to the poor and acts of righteousness. Of course, righteousness is keeping God's laws. So those acts of righteousness, which is in the law of how to treat your brother or your neighbor, okay? Then it says to be given without public show freely. So you're supposed to give alms. You're not supposed to let everybody know what you're doing. You're supposed to do that in secret, okay? And we're going to get those scriptures out today. Now, I asked the Most High to use me to speak to you so you can understand, get a little better understanding of the word, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go to 1 Colossians. And by the way, I'm using the King James. 1 Colossians chapter 3. Let's start at verse 17. That's 1 Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. 1 Colossians chapter 3, verse 17, and we're going to read to probably read about 23, okay? Verse 17, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Most High and His Son, giving thanks to our power and the Father by Him. Then we're going to read verse 23. All right. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Most High and not unto men. Okay. So we read verse 17 and verse 23. Okay. So now let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Excuse me. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Getting all tongue twisted here. First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. And we're going to read to verse 4. Is everybody there? Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. You see that? And have not charity. Verse 2, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. So, if you don't have charity, it don't matter all the gifts that you have, prophecy and speaking in tongues. You don't have charity. The Bible says you don't have nothing. You see that? So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter. Let's go down to verse. Well, you can read the whole chapter, but let's go to verse 13. This is 1 Corinthians 13 and 13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. Let's read it again. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. So you can have faith and hope, but charity, given to your neighbor, to the poor, doing good deeds, is better than all. I know that throws people for a little mind loop there, but yeah, that's what it says. Okay, now let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. First Peter chapter 4, we're going to start at verse 8. Is everybody there? 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. I'm going to read this again, because this is totally, I won't say opposite, but totally out of the realm of the average Christian thinking. It says, and above all things have fervent charity. So above everything, have charity among yourselves. That's between the people, the believers. It ain't talking about the people that ain't. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins. So if I'm sinning, and then I give a homeless man, give some of our people something, it covers it some. I didn't write it. So I think a lot of us need to be giving a lot of charity, me included. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples, okay, before I get into the alms. Now, we used to give, at least I did, more to the Christian church when I was, quote unquote, church going than I do now to the brother. It's sad but true. A lot of us come out of the church and we used to give them tithes and alms. Well, I'll say tithes and offerings, but we don't do it now that we're in the truth. What happened? It's because we were required to give them alms. Those tithes. And I don't think a lot of us was happy with doing it, but now we're free. Okay, we know it's not a requirement now. We know for what we believe, we give alms. But the point is, we were giving more than we do now. There's a problem with that. I think there's a problem with that. I know brothers that they get a little alms to the ministry and that's all they do. They think they're good. Well, what we reading here is something different. So I had a brother in past ministry, and he was going through some hard times, with his family and everything. And we had a little meeting, a little men's meeting thing, and I'm gonna tell you how the Most High work. You know, I had a big bill in my wallet. I don't really carry big bills. I use my credit card. For some reason, I had a big bill in my wallet. Well, the brother was going through some stuff. He didn't tell nobody. When we all chipped in and gave him a nice amount of change. You know, we helping each other. You know, the brother just wouldn't. You know, just didn't. He kind of quiet like. But it's the fact that I had a big bill in my wallet. You know, at that time, and guess what? That bill was for him. That's how the Most High works. It seems foolish now. Why did I have the money in my wallet? But that money was for him the whole time. I didn't know it. The Most High knew it. I know you another example. We had a feast day at the brothers. You know, it was on the brother's property, and the brother worked his slave, getting his place ready and all this. You know, and you know the Most High. He's something else. He noticed the work the brother put in. When we got there, the brother was shoveling gravel and all this stuff. I mean, we were so appreciative of this brother and what he did. But not only was we appreciative, the Most High was appreciative. We chipped in and gave that brother a whole, you know, and I'm not boasting or bragging. I'm just bringing examples to show you how the Most High works. He sees what you're doing. He knows what you're doing. He knows your heart. Now, we're not saying, oh, well, he knows our heart like, you know, Christian church say. But this is the alms and charity stuff that we're supposed to give each other. Okay? Because if we get it to each other, what kind of need will we ever have? Whether at my job, I make paper products. If I'm giving to my brothers the paper product, this brother over here works at so-and-so, he giving this stuff, and the other brother working at, I don't know, make bread, and he gets bread. So if we all giving to each other, what we gonna need? But the point is, we don't do it. I don't know why we won't do it, but we don't do it. Well, if I got a garden or this brother got a garden, we giving back and forth fruits and stuff. That's what it's supposed to be. But we do not do it. And I said to myself, I try to get everybody that knows me know I have no problem with giving pretty much. But we all need to get into that tune. Because I'm going to bring out alms, you're going to see something else. Alright? Alright, so let's get off of that. And I got plenty of examples. Oh man. I got some right here, but I can't go into all of them. Okay, so let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. And we're going to read verse 1 to 4. Matthew chapter 6, verse 1 through 4. All right. Take heed, and this is red letter. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. I'm going to read that again. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. Otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Now, I know people don't like me talking about the Christian church, but sorry, that's all I know. When you walking down that aisle, handing your money, putting that money in that plate, is that what Christ said you're supposed to be doing? It says, do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. I'm going to let that stay right there. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. And people wonder why they're not blessed. Well, people in the Christian church saying all the material things are being blessed. Oh, Satan do that too. We ain't talking about the material things. Okay? We're talking about blessed making to the kingdom. That's what we're talking about. And because the stuff they do, that I used to do in the Christian church, according to the scriptures, we ain't supposed to do that. Let me read on down. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues or churches, and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have the reward. But when thou doest alms, let thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth, it says not do it. That thine alms may be in secret. See, when I'm giving a brother something, I ain't supposed to, hey man, I know I gave so and so. No, not supposed to do that. Thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. Meaning, just like we gave the brother a lump sum of money for all he did for that feast day, that was given openly. That was given openly. That's what it's talking about. Same thing with the other brother I was telling you about. It was given openly. That's the Most High giving. That's not us. We just vessels. All we are is vessels. The Most High puts it in our brain, in our spirit. Hey, I don't know, I'm going down the road, I see somebody, stop, whatever. That's a spirit in you. Or it could be an angel. The angel could be making the stoplight turn red, and while it's red, you sitting there and you look over to the side or something like that. Hey, y'all don't understand how deep this is, how deep it goes. But it goes deep. Let's get some more scriptures. Let's go to Acts chapter 10. Let's get some on Cornelius. Acts chapter 10. And we're going to read about 1 through 4. Acts chapter 10. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian Band, a devout man and one that feared the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people. See, the first thing it says about Cornelius is what? First thing it says, he feared God. Because the beginning of wisdom is what? Fearing the Most High. That's all through the scriptures. You see how everything is lined up? It didn't put alms first, it put the Most High first. He always gets the credit first. A devout man that feared the Most High with all his house, that's the first thing, which gave much alms to the people. That's the second thing. Then he prayed to God always. He saw in a vision evidently about the 9th hour of the day, and let me see, okay, here we go. And he saw in a vision evidently about the 9th hour of the day an angel of the Most High coming into him, and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers, catch this, and thine alms are come up for a memorial before the Most High. So your giving alms are come up for a memorial before the Most High. That is deep as I don't know what, because like I said, I'm learning off these lessons too, and I'm putting this stuff together. I'm like, read right over it, but my God, it says thine alms, thy giving is come up for a memorial before the Most High. So saints, we got to get back to this giving. We got to get back to giving to our people. I know we're in the last days, but we got to do it. Let's get some more. Let's go to Tobit in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Tobit. I think some of you know about Tobit. Tobit loved to give some alms. It's all in this chapter. Tobit chapter 4. Okay. Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. Here we go. Is everybody there? Yeah? What about? Y'all got it? Okay. Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. We're going to read down to probably about 11, okay? Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee. Check that out. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. Now we got a problem with that. When we ain't got nothing, we don't want to give nothing. But you know, in the old Christian church I was at, if you ain't had nothing to give, they used to give you something to give. I don't know if that really did anything, but they gave you something to give so you can give. That's kind of not the same concept, because now that I think of it, that was, well, I'll leave that alone. But it says, if thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give to that little. And I got an example of that, okay? For thou layest up good treasure for thyself against that day of necessity, because that alms do deliver from death. Woo! Because that alms do deliver from death. Because, see, it covers a multitude of sins. Man. And suffer not to come into darkness. For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High. I don't know about y'all, but I'm happy to be reading this. I guess you can tell, but for alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High. Okay, so now let's go to Tobit chapter 12. And we're going to go to verse 8. Just skip over a couple of pages. Tobit chapter 12, verse 8. It says, prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than to lay up gold. For alms doth deliver from death, and shall purge away all sin. Are y'all hearing this? For them out there that don't give, and you doing some sinning, hey, now what is sin though? That's breaking God's laws. Sin is breaking God's laws. And we all do that. So I think all of us need to be doing a whole lot of giving, right? I'm going to read it again. For alms doth deliver from death, and shall purge away all sin. Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. Woo! Okay. Now let's go to Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus, which we know is the son of Sirach, chapter 12. Chapter 12. And if you got the red book, it's page 77. Okay? Sirach chapter 12, verse 3. Now, this is going to throw some people for a loop. It reads, wait a minute. Let's start at verse 2. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, and if not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. See, it says no good can come to him that is always occupied in evil, no good to come to him, nor that giveth no alms. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner. I got to clear my throat on that one. I'm going to read it again. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner. When we give to a sinner, what they're going to do? Go buy another drink, right? It says give to the godly man. You think them people that Christ was giving helping out, they were not godly people? Why don't you think about that? Now I'm going to read verse 5. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not to him. lest he overmaster thee thereby, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for the good thou shalt have done unto him. And you can read on down, but it says, for the Most High hateth sinners and will pay vengeance to the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Now, we don't want to get deep into that, but what mainly want to get out of here, it says give to the godly man. Okay? Now, I didn't write it. This is the Most High said. Now, we already read scriptures about he's supposed to give to our brother, give to our people. Okay, give to the needy, give to the poor. All these people out here doing all wrong, standing on the side of the road, holding a sign saying, bless God, bless you. You're not caring about no God. You really think them people care about some God? Come on now, let's be real. They could put that on that sign to get your money. They playing on you. I'd rather give the ones that don't have that stuff on their sign, because at least they're being real. Okay, some people say, oh no, I'm wrong. Okay, you do what you want. But I know my Bible says give to the godly person. That's basically your brethren, or what you might call believers. Okay? So now, let's go to an example. Let's go to Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21. We're going to start at verse 1. So everybody there. Luke chapter 21. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. And he said, of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast more than they all. For all thieves have their abundance cast into the offerings of the Most High, but she of her penury has cast in all the living that she had. So it says that she has cast more than all because she had a little bit. You see what I'm saying? She had a little bit and she gave it. The Most High knows. But these rich men, they got a whole lot. They would have to give a whole lot to catch up to what the poor widow put in. Okay, so don't be ashamed because you got a little bit to give. I know a lot of people are stingy out there. They don't want to give. They worry about their family and all that. No, if you worry about your family, you need to be giving. Okay, so that's a good example. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 1. Zephaniah chapter 1. Zephaniah chapter 1, let's go to verse 18. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. And he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So, if you got abundance or you got some money, you got whatever, you need to go ahead and start giving. You need to go ahead and start giving. Because that time is now. Okay? Christ is back at any time. I know, we still got to go through more tribulation. This mark of the beast thing, with this virus, some people think it's a chip, but I tell you what, thinking of these ways of America, following the so-called, the so-called devil and Satan in his medicines, taking his jab, okay, that's going to take you down. So, saints, I had another scripture here. Actually, I already read it in Sirach, give to godly man. But in closing, I'm just going to be serious with everybody. We got to give more as a people. We don't do it. We don't do it enough. I know some brothers in the truth, and I don't want to be saying no names and none of that kind of stuff, but I didn't see it. But that's the brotherly love part. The brotherly love, well, that's given. It ain't got to be material things. What if a brother call you, he got a flat tire, or take him somewhere, help out the family. I mean, anything. We got to do more of it, saints. We do. We can't just do lip service. We got to show it. Okay, we got to show it. And all the scriptures I gave you, I'd love for you to go over them, especially ones we talk about a multitude of, it covers a multitude of sins, your alms. It don't say tithes. I want to make this clear to the Christians out there. It doesn't say tithes, because you giving tithes, that's supposed to be an Old Testament law that you give to the Levites. The scriptures I read said alms. That's different. It's not the same as tithes. So I want to bring that out. Make sure these Christians that's watching this, and if you want me to, did I do a lesson on? Yeah, I did do a lesson on alms and tithe and whatever. But it says alms, which is a free will offering, okay? And it says, is rendered to give to the poor, acts of righteousness to be given without public show, freely, which is freely given, okay? And charity, and we read the definition of that, which is helping those in need. All right. So with that, saints, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I know I started off a little rough. I'll be a little nervous, sometimes starting off. But I think I ended up pretty well. I got some more lessons coming. I've wrote up. I just gotta, do them. But I love y'all. Share my videos. And I appreciate everybody. If you got any inquiries about anything, you need some apocryphas, I just ordered some. And I'm gonna get some other books in also. Just give me a message on the YouTube page. And I got a Facebook page also. True Seekers, Servants of the Most High. Okay, you can find me. With that, saints, shalom.